Hello again, continuing the A through Z challenge, we have Blitzcrank as support, supporting Samira up against Seraphine and Caitlyn in the Dragon Lane. Alright, let's talk about his abilities real quick. His passive gives him a barrier when he falls below 35% health. This has a cooldown of like a minute or so. His first ability is called Rocket Grab, where he extends his arm, grabs the champion or, minion, and he brings it towards him. That's what he does when when you try to counter jungle and stuff like that. His second ability is Overdrive, where he gives him 2 casts to speed up and get attack speed, but once you press on it, you get slowed for a certain amount of time after it expires. Third ability is Power Fist, where he hits you harder and he knocks you up. Usually the combo for Blitzcrank is first ability, third ability, and his ultimate has 2 options. When it is off cooldown and you hit an enemy, it gives them extra magic damage after 1 second, and its active is a huge AoE with the silencing effect. Alright, let's get started. So before we do go to the laning phase, I want to talk about warding. What a lot of supports do is they drop their first ward here in this tribush, which gives you no value. Value as in you get no sort of visibility that you wouldn't already have. I go to the jungler's blue, or the enemy jungler's blue, and I put a ward there. That gives me 2 pieces of evidence. 1, the enemy is starting red buff, and 2, that they place a red ward on the blue buff. Now, warding deeply like that does have its own risks. 1, you can encounter the enemy jungler, which would really suck. 2, as you see, Samira took a lot of damage because she got attacked in a, early bush cheese attack. And the other thing I want to talk about when it comes to the support role is pinging summoner spells. So here you see that I use Exhaust, and Seraphine uses Heal. So the second she uses Heal, I back off to a safe spot, open up the overview board, and ping that Seraphine use Heal. That allows myself, Samira, and the jungler to know that they don't have that as an option anymore. If you want to play Blitzcrank, the most important thing to remember is that he hooks with his right hand, allowing you to do cheesy moves like that. I know that I would not hook the minion because of my positioning. If you can understand where the right hook goes, you can get cheese like that really easy. And just like always, once the fight starts and I get to a safe spot, open up the overview board and ping that Caitlyn used both flash and barrier. And obviously practice makes perfect. You can see here that I did not ping that Seraphine used her flash, but I know she doesn't have her flash. So this is pretty easy to get. A hook, a knockup. Samira takes a free turret shot. I back off by accident and Samira dies, but at least she got a double kill, technically. Alright, so Wild Rift has a lot of different shields. We've seen 3 so far in this game alone, so we'll talk about the difference. First you'll see Blitzcrank, which is blue, looks like a little ball of electricity. Next one is Nullifying Orb, what you'll see here is blue, dark blue. The next one you'll see is Barrier, which is a completely white one. That's how you know the difference between the different shields that you've seen, at least in this game. Hopefully that helps some of you, and if not, then it's still good knowledge to have. That was another long distance hook on Caitlyn, and she still doesn't have flash, as we know that, so of course we can go for a really aggressive move here. She survived, unfortunately, but at least she's really low, either forcing her to back or stay risky and try to farm. Lee Sin is here to help us out, so we're going to try to go for a nice little cheese on Seraphine. She managed to survive. And then I see Yone out of nowhere attack Lee Sin. Yone is level 5, so I have to make sure we keep him busy. Force him to leave, and we did. Samira goes in. I have to go all the way around to avoid all the traps that Caitlyn put down. I got a nice little heal. Got a kill on Seraphine. I got a nice hook on Caitlyn. I actually level up right here. Managed to use my ultimate to silence both Caitlyn and Yone. I got a nice little double kill. And straight to pushing. The reason we knew we could make this play and stay so aggressive is because we knew that neither Seraphine or Caitlyn had their flash, which means they had to either stay in the fight or try to walk away from us. And if they try to walk away from us, obviously with Blitzcrank, with a hook, it's kind of difficult, isn't it? With that, we recall, we got Samira complimenting us. He says, "Bro, do you miss?" I say, "Lol, sometimes," just because, I do sometimes miss my hooks. And so far, we've been landing some pretty solid hooks this game. But again, it's mostly knowledge of the enemy team not having the way out with flash. So you can see that I ignored the minions and went straight towards Caitlyn. What I'm doing here is zoning Caitlyn away from the blue minions to make sure she doesn't get passive gold and experience from dying blue minions. The perfect application to this technique would be if your ADC would slowly farm, so the red minions could kill some of the blue minions with keeping Caitlyn out of range. Up next is a roaming technique where Samira singly farms this lane to get even more golden experience without sharing with me. I ping Garen, "Hey, I'm going towards middle lane, get ready for this gank." The closer I get, I ping it again saying I'm on my way. What I do here is I speed up, I use my ultimate to silence Morgana before I hook her to make sure she can't use her spell shield, knock her up while she's still silent, easily allowing Garen to get that kill. If I had not silenced beforehand, when she flashed, she could just spell shield, and my hook would be for nothing, and she would have gotten away. That's the kind of mechanical processing that happened there. You'll notice that after my roam, Samira is level 7, while Seraphine and Caitlyn are both level 6. This means that my roam was successful in that Samira has a much larger experience lead. She also probably has a larger gold lead now because she'd have to share the gold with me. So all of this is why roaming is sometimes essential. The tricky part is knowing when to roam. In this game I decided to roam because Samira has such a massive lead on both of the enemies, and we're both really fed, so it wouldn't have been a problem. However, the problems begin when you start to get really cocky with your gameplay. We do have a big lead, yes, but that doesn't mean the lead will stay there forever. For example, in this play, I see Caitlyn and Seraphine are a little too far, there's no minions, so I try to hook onto somebody. I catch Seraphine, I silence her, she flashes out of the way. Yon is here, he ults. Samira accidentally flashes into Yon's ultimate, also rolls into Caitlyn and Seraphine as opposed to rolling away from her to her turret. I miss my hook on Caitlyn. Caitlyn flashes, so I try to just knock her up to keep her busy. I am running away from her, and I obviously know that they're going to go for Dragon. I ping the retreat from Dragon just to let the team know, hey, they might be doing Dragon. Garen dropped Rift Herald. I'm assuming he's going to go rotate towards Dragon, but he stays in middle lane. I hook Yon to stop him from smiting. Lee also misses Flash, so that's 2 messed up flashes. I die. We got first turret, but they take Dragon. So it's just a bunch of silly mistakes that we did there that led to us losing Dragon and also 3 of us dying. These kind of plays can lead to a broken morale. Like if you go back earlier, Samira's like, oh, I'm so bad, I accidentally flashed into the ultimate. And you'll see Lee Sin right here put I'm sorry. So I feel like sometimes you gotta hype up the people. So I say, don't worry about it, we're doing our best, that's all we can do, and hope, we win. If we don't win, it is what it is, But at least let them know that there's no guilt upon them and just to get over it. That sometimes what I think personally is that it reboosts the morale or it kind of alleviates the negative morale. Moving back to Dragon Lane, the most important thing to realize here is that you don't have a lead anymore. The lead you had previously doesn't exist at this point, so the way you play this lane is completely different. Previously it was that we can do whatever the heck we wanted because he couldn't fight us. Now they can fight us at even ground, probably even stronger than us because Caitlyn just does so much damage. We have to be aware of this. This doesn't mean that the game is over, it just means that we have to be smarter with our decisions. The other thing that I've noticed is that I'm missing my hooks a lot more often now, so that's another way you can kind of see that your confidence is kind of faltered or has been messed up a little bit, just because, one bad play that we did earlier is completely messing up this game. From an easy game to a, gotta put some effort into this game now. And that happens to a lot of people, right? Like, your mental, whenever you make a mistake, you feel like you're making a mistake over and over again. Like, you go from 0-2 from a really bad early game to, like, 0-6 really, really fast, because it's a slippery slope, making one mistake. Like, here, I completely could have dodged that Seraphine, but I didn't, and I'm just taking so much damage. At this point, I'm being forced to recall, but it could have been avoided, right? Coming back to lane, I see Samira and Caitlyn are still duking it out. Samira flashes for that kill on Caitlyn, but unfortunately Yon was there once again ready to go. He has the most fantastic timing as a jungler, but that led to her dying again. At this point it's a 3v1. I do know that they're probably going to wait to combo Seraphine's ultimate with Yon's damage and Caitlyn's damage to take care of me and under the turret. Thankfully, Lee Sin and Garen came to give me some backup, at least in the jungle, taking care of Yon. Seraphine and Caitlyn stay in the lane a bit too late. Yon goes down to Lee Sin. Lee Sin ults Caitlyn away and gets out of there safely. Thankfully, Seraphine missed her ultimate, so we are comfortable here. Samira's back to life. Rift Herald just spawned. My ultimate is back up, which means I have an advantage because Seraphine does not have her ultimate, so I can approach them, ult them, and try to do some damage. At this point, we have to make a play to kind of change the dynamic back. Thankfully, Caitlyn got a little too comfortable. We caught her out finally. Seraphine all by herself. I have Ignite to make sure she dies. Samira with a double kill. And just like that, that one little mistake put us back on top. And sometimes that's all it is. To win the game, you gotta wait for somebody to make a mistake. And in every elo, somebody makes a mistake. Higher elos, sure, they make smaller mistakes, but you can still take advantage of those mistakes. Samira doing Samira things, getting a triple kill kind of. Let's just call it a killing spree on Morgana. I got Lucidity boots to get cooldown to make sure I can hook more often and knock people up more often. Walking back towards the game, I'm pinging that I'm on my way towards Rift Herald. I was hoping Lee Sin would also go towards Rift Herald, but he went for blue instead. It is what it is. I also see Yasuo, so I say attack Yasuo instead, clear out top lane, and then go for Rift Herald without a problem. Yon also shows up there. Thankfully, Yon left Yasuo alone to fend for himself. Garen came to help me out with Yasuo, also Lee Sin, so 3v1 on Yasuo. This is a pretty easy kill regardless of if he uses ultimate or not. And now we go straight towards Rift Herald. And you'll notice that Samira is at Dragon Lane. That's fine. I'd rather her get more golden experience points than coming and join us and fight for Rift Herald, because we don't really need her here. Morgana and Yon both come into the fray. I hook Morgana to get them out of the way to avoid her ult stunning both Lee Sin and Garen. Thankfully, we managed to secure Rift Herald, even though Yon almost killed Lee Sin and Garen. Jace came from middle lane to take care of the weak sauce Morgana, who survived. Yon, I managed to hook him by sheer luck, getting a double kill for Jace. At this point, the enemy team surrenders. So at this point, I'm going to chase Caitlyn and try to get a last kill before I do. I hook her, use my ultimate. I did get that 75 gold alert, so I did get that kill. Either way, good game. This was really fun. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I hope you guys learned something on this one. I tried to make this one a little more educational than usual. But either way, I hope it was fun. Thank you all again for watching these videos. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, throw them down in the comments. I know I'm giving these out like rapid fire. That's simply because we're barely at the B's and we have a ton more to go. Talk to you all soon. Have a great one.